There was a moment that arrived quietly in her life. Not dramatic, not loud, but irreversible. It came after years of hoping, adjusting, waiting, and loving harder than she should have. She realized the more she chased love, the farther it moved away. One day, without announcements or endings, she simply stopped chasing. She stopped reaching first. She stopped proving her worth. She stopped auditioning for affection. At first, it felt uncomfortable. The silence where longing once lived left her exposed. Most women mistook this moment for loneliness. But it was not loneliness. It was withdrawal from illusion. She had spent years projecting her aliveness onto others. When she stopped, that energy began to return home. At first, it felt like grief. She mourned imagined futures and the version of herself that believed love required self erasure. Beneath the grief, her nervous system began to settle. Her body no longer braced for disappointment. Her breath deepened, her shoulders softened. Slowly, she realized something unsettling. She felt calmer without the chase than she ever felt within it. Her soul began to speak. She saw how often she had mistaken anxiety for love and intensity for intimacy. Anger surfaced, not at love, but at the conditioning that taught her she had to earn affection. This anger was sacred. As the chase ended, her intuition sharpened. She trusted discomfort and stopped negotiating with red flags. She became magnetic, not because she tried to attract, but because she no longer chased. For the first time, she was no longer afraid of being misunderstood or left. She had already returned to herself. She enjoyed her own company. Solitude became nourishing. Silence felt rich instead of threatening. Stopping the chase did not close her heart. It opened it, without attachment to outcome. Her soul became sovereign, and that sovereignty unsettled those who once benefited from her pursuit. She stopped chasing potential and began responding only to reality. And everything changed. She no longer lived in anticipation. Her life was happening, complete and undivided. Her nervous system recalibrated. She noticed joy, curiosity, and beauty in the world again. Energy returned to her body. Movement, creativity, and life unfolded naturally. She felt grounded, rooted, and safe in herself. Distance no longer felt like danger. Her boundaries became natural instead of defensive. She no longer over-explained or justified herself. Emotionally unavailable people sensed her calm and could no longer control the dynamic. She could feel desire without acting on it, attraction without attachment. Her heart was open, her nervous system regulated. Secure, grounded people were naturally drawn to her steadiness. Mutuality became possible. Love changed shape. It was no longer dramatic, consuming, or confusing. It was quiet, grounded, reciprocal. She no longer chased love. She responded to alignment. She lived fully in herself. She was whole, not hardened, not closed. She was already home, and that was the end of the chase. And yet, even after the chase ends, something else begins. Because wholeness does not mean stagnation. It does not mean isolation. It means movement without desperation, desire without hunger, connection without self abandonment. In this new inner landscape, her soul begins to ask different questions. Not who will choose me, but what kind of life do I want to inhabit? Not how do I keep love, but what allows me to stay true to myself? These questions are quieter, but far more powerful. She starts to notice how much energy she once spent monitoring others, reading tone, interpreting silence, adjusting herself to avoid abandonment. That energy now returns to her body, her creativity, her intuition, her sense of time. Time changes for her. It no longer feels like something running out, but something unfolding. She is no longer racing toward a future where love finally begins. She is living inside a present that already feels complete. And from this place, her boundaries are no longer defensive walls. They are natural contours. She does not announce them, she lives them. And those who cannot respect them simply cannot stay close. This is where many misunderstand her. Some call her cold. Others say she has become too independent, too selective, too hard to reach. But the truth is simpler and far more uncomfortable for those watching her. She has stopped negotiating her worth. She no longer explains why she needs space, why she won't tolerate mixed signals, why she will not wait in ambiguity. She does not argue her standards, she embodies them. and embodiment is undeniable. This is why, paradoxically, she becomes more magnetic than ever. Not because she is trying to attract, but because she is no longer leaking energy. Her presence is coherent, aligned, calm. People feel safe around her, and also slightly exposed. Because when someone is no longer chasing love, they unconsciously invite others to confront their own hunger, their own avoidance, their own unhealed patterns. Some step forward, others retreat, and she lets both happen. This is another quiet transformation of the soul, the ability to let go without narrative, without villainizing, without clinging to stories of rejection or loss. She understands now that not everyone who leaves is abandoning her. Some are simply no longer compatible with who she has become. She grieves less dramatically now, but more honestly. She allows sadness to move through her without attaching it to identity, without turning it into proof that something is wrong with her. Emotions become weather, not verdicts, and this emotional maturity reshapes her inner world. Her solitude becomes nourishing, not empty. She enjoys her own company, not as a consolation prize, but as a genuine relationship. She listens to herself, trusts herself, keeps promises to herself. This self trust is everything, because when she trusts herself, she is no longer afraid of losing love. She knows she can survive disappointment, that she can walk away from what harms her, that she will not betray herself to avoid being alone. And this knowledge makes her unmovable, not rigid, rooted. If love arrives now, it must meet her at eye level. It must speak clearly, act consistently, respect her rhythms. She is no longer impressed by intensity. She looks for integrity. She is no longer seduced by potential. She looks at patterns. And perhaps the most radical change of all is this: she no longer fantasizes about being rescued. She does not look for someone to complete her story, fix her wounds, or give her life meaning. She has already done the work of completion within herself. Love is no longer the destination. It is an experience that may accompany her journey. This shift rewires her nervous system. She can feel attraction without losing herself, desire without urgency, hope without attachment. And if disappointment comes, it does not devastate her. It informs her. She is no longer trying to be chosen. She is choosing. And choosing requires courage, because it means saying no to what once felt intoxicating, familiar, safe in its dysfunction. It means releasing fantasies that kept her small. But the reward is immense. Her soul feels spacious now, not constantly bracing for loss, not constantly scanning for signs. She breathes deeper, sleeps better, laughs more freely. There is an unspoken joy that comes from alignment, and this joy is not loud. It does not need witnesses. It lives quietly in her daily life, in the way she drinks her coffee, in the way she walks, in the way she speaks with grounded honesty, in the way she listens without abandoning herself. This is the woman who has stopped chasing love. She is not perfect. She still feels longing, still feels tenderness, still hopes. But these feelings no longer control her choices. They inform them. She has learned the difference between love and longing, between chemistry and compatibility, between attachment and connection. And this knowledge cannot be unlearned. So if love comes, it will meet a woman who is awake, integrated, self honoring. And if it does not, she will still live a life that feels meaningful, embodied, and true, because her soul no longer lives in pursuit. It lives in presence, and presence, when fully inhabited, is the deepest form of love there is. She no longer chased love. She responded to alignment. She lived fully in herself.